Welcome to T Boys TV. We are back again with another Hat Show, episode 173. And in this one, we are previewing another massive home game remaining this season at home against Brentford. So, yeah, let's get straight into it. Like always, I'm joined with my dad. How are we, Dad?
Yeah, all good, mate.
Good. Yep, no, I'm all good. Hope you are well as well. I'm glad you're well, shall I say. But yeah, let's get into it. So Brentford, like I say, that's who we're taking on. As it stands, obviously league positions. Obviously we're 18th, 25 points. If we were to win, obviously we do play before Everton and Forest. I will be keeping a massive eye on that. That is on Sunday midday, I believe, something like that. Obviously, if we were to win, and say for example Everton Forest was a draw, we would go above Forest. We'd be on the same points as Everton, but they'd have a better goal difference. And it's not like we, are going to catch up, in this game week anyway, because we'd have to score a ridiculous amount of goals. So, we could go out of the relegation zone, if they were to draw and we were to get a win. As for Brentford, they're 15th. If they were to win, they could potentially go above Palace. Palace do play West Ham, who did get knocked out of Europe. Good performance by them, considering it was against Leverkusen, but yeah, fell short in the end. So it's an interesting one. I mean, Palace are on that high. They got that win, didn't they, away at Anfield, which was a massive win. What a win that was. Didn't even concede either. So it's all interesting there. But insight going into it, like we always do. Luton have lost 6 of their 7 league games against Brentford, with their last home meeting ending in a 3-0 defeat in October 2020 in the Championship. Again, it goes back to what I say, and what I have said, especially when speaking about this game, the times I've proper been invested into Luton, we've always struggled against Brentford, and you can see it there. Brentford have won 4 of their last 8 away league games against Luton, losing 4, having won 3 of their first 27 visits in the Football League beforehand, drawing 5, losing 19. Brentford have lost both of their Premier League away games against promoted sides this season, going 1-0 down at Sheffield United and 2-1 at Burnley. And the Bees haven't lost 3 away games against promoted teams in a season since the 1988-89 third-tier campaign, when they lost to Cardiff, Wolves and Bolton. Luton have won just one of their 12 Premier League games, drawing 3, losing 8. Though it is in their last home game, obviously we won against Bournemouth. The Hatters are yet to win back-to-back home league games this season. Brentford are unbeaten in their last 4 Premier League games, winning 1, drawing 3, having lost 14 of their 18 previously, winning 3, drawing 1. The Bees are looking to win consecutive league games for the first time since November. So that's that when it comes to that. More on Brentford as a whole. And obviously team news and that sort of thing. So, since drawing 2-2 with Tottenham in their opening game of the season, Brentford haven't scored more than once in the first half in any of their last 32 league games. Janelt is the only player to have played in every Premier League game for Brentford this season. Should he play in this game, he will be the first player to make Premier League appearances for the Bees. Brentford have lost both of their games against newly promoted clubs, like I say. Now, team news for us is still not great. I thought we would see at least 2 back, potentially. But no. So, Osho's still out. Again, he was one of them that's potentially, rumoured to be in for this game. Lokonga, again, another one that we thought would be available for this game. Chio, again, another one you could have potentially had in for this game. I know you felt that it personally might have been. Elijah's still out. Sort of expected that one. Anderson again expected that. Nakamba, who is actually come out this season, but he won't be back for the season. Nakamba, which is a bit of a blow there. Brown again, another player that's rumoured to be out for the whole season now. So again, that's not good. Bell, obviously, we sort of knew that one with the injury that'd be out for the season. Lockyer, of course, and Potts still not available, and it's getting gutting with Potts because I do want to see him play, in the Premier League because of that rise he's had with us, even if he comes on, for like 10 minutes or 5 minutes, something like that. Just want to see him get that Premier League ball as well. Obviously you see all the other players get it that have featured this season, and he has been part of the rise. He stepped up, in the player final and was, he took the armband, didn't he, for the penalties. So, he does deserve it. So I do want to see that, but I don't know, it's looking slim at the moment. And then obviously Mendy is a doubt. Again, how many players have been doubts over the couple of weeks and they've played. I'm confident he'll be available. Now, I know he's a doubt against City and he didn't play in the end, but, that was two players that were doubts, him and Burke. So I think, the times we've had one player as a doubt, they've mainly played. And I think he will play in this one personally. So, again, we thought we'd see a few back. Like I say, mainly for me, Lokonga, Osho, but no, not meant to be, unfortunately. And then the referee for this game will be Jared Gillett. 109 yellow cards and 3 red cards have been handed out by Gillett across his 25 games this season. Last time he was in official for our game was when we lost to Spurs. And from memory, we know what the standard of referee is like in the Premier League, but I can't remember him being that bad in that game. So he's one of the better ones out of them. And their VAR is Peter Banks. So that's all that when it comes to that. So how are you feeling, Dad, about the players being out still and the game?
Well, that's a bit of a blow, to be honest. Expecting maybe at least one back, maybe Lokonga or whatever, but makes it a little bit more difficult, because there's a lot of pressure on this game. But it is what it is. I'm sure we're putting a fighting performance. So yeah, see what happens.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And the positives you do have to look at in these last couple of games. Well, more so like the Man City one for me, as no one come out of that injured. And it has been like that the last few games. So take that into account as well. And I also do believe it will still be a difficult game. Of course it will. But I feel that Brentford winning last week, has sort of, kept their Premier League status for me personally. So I feel I'm sort of glad they won that game because, there's not as much pressure, that there could have been going into this. Obviously, it still make it difficult. It's still got players and they've pretty much got everyone available that they can have. I think maybe by like 1 or 2 players. So, but again, like I say, it's that home game. You need to make the most of these remaining 3 home games now. And, it's a good opportunity to do that. And it's like you say that they're like cup finals, and that's what they are. So, yeah. Was you going to say something there, Dad?
Yeah, I think, like I say, pressure's not so much on Brentford. They've got a bit of a poor record against them, but, they've not been too great themselves this season, to be fair. Like you said, they lost to Sheffield United and Burnley. So I don't see why we couldn't beat them. It's just that I don't know if we've got the heads, and that pressure is going to be a lot. But this is where we need certain players to actually properly step up. You know what I mean? Even the fringe players on that, And actually, it's good we got Kabore back. I've already done my lineup, and then I just realised I totally forgot about Fred. Fred will be on the bench. Fred will be an option. Johnson will be an option. Come on. Who was the other young lad who come on?
Nelson as well, yeah.
Yeah. So, I know they haven't, contributed much, but they give players, a little bit when you, depending on what score is, whatever, you can bring them on, and rest some players a little bit up. And where I'm, so we'll definitely 100% have the crowd behind us. And they're not that far ahead of that. The games we lost to them massively in that was in the 2020 season when we had flipping Graham Jones, and even like after that, I know we lost earlier in the season, but that was a lot of that was more tactical. We sat off of it. We haven't really been like that since. So we've got a totally different squad to that 2020 and then them kind of seasons. We've definitely caught them up. But like we got them injuries, you know, for slightly more players, and I think they'll be well up. I know they're going to be up for it anyway, but I think it's going to be tough eyes. We're going to do it the Luton way, unfortunately. But yeah.
No, I agree. And again, it's another one of them, isn't it, where we say we're trying to move in a similar direction to, you know, your Brentfords, your Brightons. Obviously, Brighton are the team that are ahead because they have, obviously, you know, they had European football. For example, Brentford weren't far off it this season, but overall, you know, their season's been poor. You know, if you're a Brentford fan, you can't really be too happy with the season for me personally. You know, because, you know, you look at it, like I say, obviously, you know, losing in them sort of games, and also just the fact of where they were last season. Yeah, it's a massive, massive drop off. Like I say, I think that Sheffield United game has confirmed that they will stay in because, you know, over the last couple of weeks, the sort of last spot, you know, for that relegation, people have been saying it's us, Forest and Everton and them, but I think they've sort of sealed it. It's more out of, you know, us, Forest and Everton now. But again, overall, it's not been too great. Obviously, they've had few players go out. You know, Ivan Toney, since he's come back, he's not really hit the heights. You know, the first game against Forest, he was all right. But again, you can sort of see his head somewhere else. You know, you can sort of see it. Even when he had that interview when he come back, you know, he's already talking about other clubs. Now, I do find that a little bit disrespectful, to be quite honest with you. And he's a good player, but I think some of the way he's come across, you know, certain things he said at Brentford and stuff, I just don't agree with it. You know, like when he got asked that time, "Oh, who'd you play for?" He went, "No one special," or something like that. Just, why are you saying that? I have a bit of respect. Do you know what I mean? So it's just one of them. But yeah, moving on to the lineups for us in this game. So like I say, Dad, you've done yours. I've done mine as well. And this is what I've gone with tomorrow. So because we're back at home, I have gone back with the formation that we do tend to play at home, which is the three at the back with the wing backs. So I've gone Kaminsky in goal, of course. Shout out to him from that Man City game. We knew he was going to do it, but he's now got the most saves in the Premier League this season. You know, felt very sorry for him. You know, a lot of goals we've conceded this season. You know, if it weren't for him, you know, we'd have conceded a lot more. And a lot of them, they're just really good finishes. And sometimes, you know, because we've had a makeshift defence, it's been difficult for him. And, you know, majority of the season, he's done really well. The only game I can think that he weren't as great is Newcastle away, but everyone has a bad game. So throughout the season, he's been really good. So obviously, you're going to go with him. The back three, I do think Mengi will be available. Like I say, I've got confidence in that. You know, if it was like last week where there's two doubts, then I do worry a little bit, but I think he will be available for this game. You know, he's got that mentality as well. You look at the last game against Bournemouth, he went down twice, the home game. I mean, you know, and he continued and he said in his interview, you know, die for the 3 points. And I think he'll want to play. You know, he's just that type of player who's got that mentality, you know, and he's been, you know, massive for us this season. So I reckon he will be there. I reckon he will go on the left side. And then Burke in the middle. Again, we've seen Burke in the middle a few times in recent games. And I think he's done okay there, to be honest. I thought it was a really good performance from him against Man City, you know, given he didn't train the whole week as well. You know, I felt he was still pretty good in that game. You know, it's against Man City as well. So I'll go with him. Then I'm going to go Hashi on the right. I mean, you could flicker between him and Kabore, you know, for that right side. But again, we know Hashioka's better on that that right side, you know, whether that's as the centre back or the wing back. So I'm going to go with that. And then the reason I put Kabore the higher one is because he is actually a wing back. But, you know, you can chop and change. Again, we know Hashioka's second sort of position is a right midfielder, which is essentially similar in the ways you bomb forward and that type of thing. And he was playing at times quite high up against City, you know, on that right-hand side, you know. So maybe it might be like that. We shall see. And then obviously Doughty on the left. Again, what a player. You know, what a player. The amount of games he's played this season, you know, it's just been absolutely phenomenal and a really good performance for me against Man City, you know, from him, especially in a more defensive role when he's more of an attacking-minded player. I felt he was very, very good in that game. So, again, you're going to go with him. And in the midfield, I've got Barkley and Clark. Again, you could maybe, obviously, you're going to go with Barkley, but you could go with maybe Ruddock. Berry. You could even go 3 in midfield again and go over 4-3-3. But I think because we're at home, I think we'll go like this. Barkley, I don't really need to say how good he's been. We all know Clark. I'll just go with him because I feel if we are going to play 2 alongside at this moment in time with Lokonga out, I feel that is the best 2 personally. When it comes to that, in that more sort of defensive midfield role, or holding midfield role, shall I say, because they obviously do chop and change between each other to go higher up and stuff like that. And then the 3 up front, Chong on the left. Again, who else is there really? For me, Woodrow's more of an impactful player. And then I'm going to go Townsend on the right. Again, if Chio was available, you'd maybe consider it just because Townsend's performances haven't been the best. It's still been quite, tried to make things happen, but, there's a few misplaced passes. Like, you look at that opportunity we had against City where it's a poor pass to Morris. It hasn't been great, but again, he's got that experience. With the, other options, who is there really, on that right side anyway. And then obviously Morris up front. Obviously, he scored the winner in the last home game. And obviously, if he does score again, which I believe he will, just whenever that is, we will see. But he will obviously be the top scorer in the Premier League this season. So that is my lineup for this game. So just to run through quickly again, Kaminsky in goal, Mengi, Burke, Hashioka as the back 3. Doughty on the left, Kabore on the right, Barkley and Clark in the more holding midfield roles. Chong on the left side, Townsend on the right, Morris up front. So that is my lineup going into it. Your lineup going into it, Dad?
I think there might be an error, to be fair. I'll try and get it up, but
no worries. While you do that, I'll just go through the comments. A lot of comments flying in. So big up to Paul. Says good evening, lads. Big up to yourself. Big up to Chris as well. He says, big up, lads. Hope you're well. Yeah, and you. Big up, Stephen, in the chat. A lot of pressure on this game for both teams. Do you think that? That's interesting. I mean, like I say, I feel Brentford. By the way, Dad, that's the screen of us. With Brentford. What's that, sorry?
What about now?
Let me just click on it. Nah, still us.
Right, I'm not sure what's going on. But anyway, basically, mine was the same as yours.
Yeah.
Except Burke and Menji swapped places. Burke was on the left.
Okay.
You could see potentially Fred for Townsend, because although Townsend's, but I don't think he's offered as much. It bits and bobs, isn't it? It's a bit like Cameron Jerome in certain ways, like he's not consistent enough, and he really needs to use his quality for us at vital times, and I don't think he's done it enough. So you could see Fred starting there. So yeah, I don't know what happened there. It was saying that it blocked it from sharing it or something. So, but that's the case. Menji, I do believe, will be back as well, and we have got we got Ruddock on the bench. Yeah, but the thing is, they might not have the quality, but we know that they'll try and fight for us. Ruddock, Berry, Woodrow, even now. Fred, you'll probably have on the bench as well. And then the youngsters that have been, probably itching to come on and do something if they get the opportunity, and you never know. So it is bad, the injuries we've got, but I don't think it's going to get any worse now. And I think a couple of players will be back for the away game, and that could make a massive difference. So
yeah, no, it could very well be. Like I say, Chris, this is pretty interesting. You think this? Obviously it is for us. We know that.
Definitely for us. Them, not so much really.
I just think personally, them getting that win last week has sort of sealed it. Yes, we all still think Sheffield United will go down either way, and definitely if they lose tomorrow, it's pretty much done because that's Burnley who are ahead of them. But yeah, I don't know. I just think they sealed it last week, personally.
Yeah, and I feel like they probably would settle for a draw. They're going to try, but they know it's going to be a tough game. But they also know that, if they get a draw, then they're definitely safe, I'd say. So yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Apparently, fair enough. I mean, at least it's before the end of the season.
Yeah, and Forest, both of them will be.
Yeah.
And both of them, although they shouldn't, will probably get at least 1 point back, I'd say. So we've got to base it on that because that's what I think will happen. They're not going to get all their points back because what's the point of doing it in the first place? So
yeah, of course.
Probably hopefully they don't get any back, but I reckon they'll both get 1 point back. So you've got to sort of think that they've basically got a point extra than they have now. So with 2 points from Forest and 3 points from Everton, I think it is. Yeah, Everton have got a game in hand against Liverpool. I can't see them winning that, so I'm not really worried about that. And we've got the opportunity to take them 3 points back off of them when we play at Kenilworth Road, if you know what I mean. So they've got some, they've got Arsenal in the last game of the season. If it does come down to the last game of the season, I fancy us to get a result more than them, definitely. I can't see Arsenal at home as well. I think they're slipping up, especially if they need to, if the title's still on as well. So then the points, once it's done, that's it. It's done. So it's definitely in our hands. I just don't want us to be thinking, like, if you say that Forest and Everton are playing later, then they'll already know the result. But it could put pressure on them because when you already know the result, look at Liverpool, look at the Arsenal game. Like Liverpool
Exactly. Yeah.
So it gives you a false sense of kind of security. So like if we've lost, then that could, I know we don't want to, but then they probably would settle for a draw then, I reckon, both of them teams. But if we win, then both of them are going to be like trying to win outright because they know they have to. And that could be very interesting. Obviously, the worst can, ideally, probably we don't want to win, but I'd say
draw.
If Everton beat Forest, then because we've still got Everton to play, so we can get some points off of them, and we have to.
Yeah, no, I agree. Especially when you look at the table, Everton, like I say, if we were to win and they got a draw, they'd still be ahead of us. So I guess if you wanted someone, you would say them, in that way. Because then if Forest win, we don't get a result we want, and need really, it's not looking as good. Obviously, we still got to play Everton, like you say, Dad, but we sort of need to make the most of these home games now. Starting from that Bournemouth game. Ideally, we wanted it to start from the Forest game, but
I'd say we can afford, not afford really, but potentially, I'd say we can afford one defeat out the rest of the games.
Is that including away games? You're saying?
Yeah.
I think I know where that one might come. Yeah, and it might be West Ham away. If I'm being honest,
and we need to just win as many as we can, get points on the board, whatever. I think lose 2.
Yeah, the home games we need to show what we thought it'd be about. Earlier on in the season where we thought we'd, I guess, in people's eyes, stun one of the, top 6 or whatever you want to call them. So no, 100%, mate. Yeah. Ideally, 100%. Big up to Mr. B. Obviously, I went on his channel earlier. Brentford fan. Yeah, big up. No worries, mate. No worries. Do check that out. We was meant to do it yesterday, but some issues outside of YouTube going on. So, we done it today. But do make sure you check it out. I know a few of you were on there that are in here. So big up to yourselves. And again, if you want to check that out, did it on Coach's Corner. There was quite a few of us where we done the tallied up points and that. We had me on, obviously, representing Luton. We had Mr. B representing Brentford, Everton fan, and Nottingham Forest fan. And we calculated it, and Forest were the team that went down. So obviously, we're not saying we're right, but that's just how we predicted it. And I stand by that because I'm looking at their games and I'm thinking, you know what? But the way Everton capitulated the other night against Chelsea, who haven't been great this season, maybe it's them. I don't know. Especially if they lost to Forest, for example. You never know because then they've got us, pretty much soon. So it's all interesting. We've got the derby as well. Some mad games for them. Big up to Early Doors TV. Says big up Ty and Dazza. How are we both doing? Yeah, good. Thanks, mate. I hope you're well. Yeah, no, exactly. For if we're being honest, for Brentford side, where they were last season, very close to getting Europe, it's a massive fall off. It is a massive fall off. But like I say, I feel you've cemented your place in the Premier League. And I know you said it earlier, getting that win against Sheffield United. So yeah. I mean, on the lineups, you can flicker between him or Kabore in that, right? And like you say, Dad, yeah, good shout, Fred. I forgot about that because when he come on against Bournemouth, he was very influential, wasn't he? There when he come on that right, so it could very well be that for Townsend. To be fair, again, I still think it's mad how he's played 4 games in the Premier League. 3 of them been against Arsenal, Tottenham, and City. He's been pretty good. As a wing back, considering that's not his main position. I was still really impressed with the way he done Guardiola last week. That was incredible, to be honest. So, yeah. Chris is putting his predictions, so I'll get into that a bit later. But yeah, that is that. Upon that, must win, says Paul. Yeah, no, we definitely have to get something. Yeah, very, very big game that. Big up to yourself as well, Jamie. I do feel if you guys lose that, then it is done. If I'm being honest, because I say Burnley are just slightly above you, aren't they? And obviously there'll be even more of a gap if they win. And really, you need to get revenge on them. After that game earlier on in the season, that was awful. Considering throughout the season you guys have not been the best. And then losing 5-0, that must have just meant it was awful for us. Like no disrespect, when we lost 3-1 at home. And 2-1 to Burnley, it just weren't great. So couldn't imagine what that one would have been like. Yeah, it could very well be. Again, I've seen a lot of people predict it. It's hard to separate them. But yeah, talk about that. I will release my predictions after this. Yeah, that's what I mean. Now, granted, I know back then you had Heckingbottom. Now you got Waldo, who's got a bit of a better understanding. But yeah, you need to try and get something definitely. Otherwise, it's definitely curtains. But yeah, that is that. Moving on to predictions, Dad. In this massive game, what is your score prediction for tomorrow's game?
I mean, I've thought it for a while anyway, and now I know that we still, do with some players back. They're gelled a little bit. The last home game was good, but I think it's going to be tough still. And I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw.
1-1 draw, fair enough. I mean, that's not the end of the world. I do think we can maybe have one draw at home and then try and win the other 2. That's how I see it. And then obviously, try and get, some points on the board in the last 2 away. Will be difficult, of course. But yeah, as for my score prediction, like I say, historically, when I've proper been invested into us and we've played Brentford, we've always struggled. Like you said, though, Dad, different circumstances, and that type of thing. But this time round, because of how poor Brentford have been this season, look at last season, Europe, that type of thing. They're very close to getting it, come down to the last game, and the massive drop-off they've had this season. We're at home. We need to make the most of these games. I think we'll get revenge, after that performance earlier on in the season. That just wasn't, good enough. We just only turned up in the last 15 minutes. I think we'll get revenge similar to Bournemouth in that sense of getting a revenge. So I'm going to say 2-1.
Yeah, it could happen. It could happen. I mean, similar to Brighton as well,
Yeah.
It could happen. But my thought is just the injuries. They're a very physical team. It's going to be hard to break them down, I think. So that's why I'm going for the 1-1. But yeah, if we get a result, then great. Obviously. And then look forward to
100%. Yeah, no, definitely. And then if we, like you say there, if we did get a draw at Wolves, that would be good. Obviously, ideally a win, but you've got to take into account they're not terrible at home. They ain't been terrible the whole season. I mean, recently they've dropped off a bit, but they got 2 games before they play us, so I'll be keeping an eye out on that and seeing how they do. Obviously, they've got Arsenal tomorrow. Probably going to be difficult, but again, they're at home, and then they're playing Bournemouth at home during the week. So they got 3 home games coming up. Thinking about it, so be interesting. But yeah, other people's score predictions. So Chris again has gone with 2-1. Obviously, we'll do our goal scorers in a minute as well. Morris 2, Tony 1. Or Dad, I know you and Stephen, for example, if Tony scores you, he'll be a bit vexed with that. But
I think it's a bit touch and go. I think he's on the bench and that. But like you say, I think he doesn't want to risk getting injured. If he gets an injury, and he's definitely going to be moving on in somewhat. That stalled it. You know, he passed medical, so no one's going to necessarily sign him, are they? And he hasn't, you know, he's been all right, but he hasn't been nowhere near how good he can be, you know. So he's obviously doing it, but he has got form against us and stuff like that, you know. But I feel like Menji would deal with him if he's playing. I honestly do. I think Menji would deal with him and have him in his pocket. But we'll see.
Yeah. No, absolutely. It'll be interesting. Jackie has gone 2-1 as well. Yeah, nice. It'll be very nice. Again, Darth Vader, shout out to you, mate. He's gone 2-1. Need Kenny rocking? No, absolutely. These remaining home games, they are massive. Like I say, we need to show what we thought we'd show, you know, with the home form where it'd be vital. And it could be very vital on the end of these 3 games, you know, at home anyway. So we shall see. Jamie always puts in mad predictions. I mean, I love it. But 4-0, could you imagine? Could you imagine the limbs? Oh my God, that'd be the second 4-0 of the season. But yeah, I do think it'd be close. But you never know. You never know. Stranger things have happened. You know, let's be honest. I remember going into that game at Brentford and saying it. Even Brentford fans, you know, we were thinking it'd be a closer game. You know, obviously there's the odd fans that were saying, "Oh, they're going to battle us" or that. But mainly, and then we lost 3-1. Do you know what I mean? So, who expected us to beat Brighton 4-0? You know, and we say that we're moving in similar directions to them sort of teams. So, you know, if we do get a win, that sort of shows it as well, you know, in my opinion. So, yeah, Paul's gone 3-1. So, yeah, literally proper revenge in the sense of the score as well. So, yeah, and then Jackie's goal scorers is Morris and Chong to score. And I'm going to be honest, I said to, I think it might have been Stephen yesterday, they're my goal scorers as well, Morris and Chong. I think Morris will overtake Elijah, you know, for the goal scorers for us. And then I could just see Chong scoring like a bottom corner. And I know I said it against City, Morris scoring a header, but I can see it. A set piece, Morris, boom. I can just see it being that aerial presence, like we know he can be, that aerial threat. So they're my 2 goal scorers. Dad, your goal scorer for us? You do Brentford if you want.
I'm going to say Morris.
Morris, yeah. I think it's like you say, isn't it? That home form for him, it's going to be like that. And I do feel, you know, because he got that goal against Bournemouth as well, give him a lot of confidence for the remaining home games. So yeah, Paul's goal scorers: Morris, Barkley, Clark. Again, I want to say Barkley. I know he did score last week, but when I say Barkley now, I want to say it if I'm confident that he's going to score that banger. Obviously, if he scores, you know, the goals inside the box and that, I don't mind. Of course, I don't. But we did say he scored that banger, so I'm holding off till I'm confident that he's going to do that with him, really. But yeah, he could score again. That'd be good if he does. What's that? 2 out of 2 if he scores again. Yeah, so be good. In the pre-season friendly, Wolves dominated us, but couldn't get past Matt Macy. Kept a clean sheet that game. Hope Kaminsky can do the same. Yeah, to be fair, we watched that game, Dad. I remember that. We actually didn't we score like twice or 3 times.
Yeah, but we did out of our depth in that game.
Yeah. And then it was weird though, because the odd chances we had, we actually done all right. Like, I remember Giles had a pretty good game.
When we played them at home, we dominated them. To be fair,
we were very unlucky not to win that game.
You know,
yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah, no, it's an interesting one with Wolves, because I'll be honest, if it was Wolves before that Coventry game, I'd be nervous. I'm not going to lie, because you know O'Neill was up there, isn't he? He was at the time for manager of the season. They're still good, don't get me wrong, but they're just not on the same sort of form. But like I say, they've got 2 games before us. So I'm going to keep an eye on them and see how they do in them games. That'll be a good test. So yeah, Morris, Barkley, Clark, said that. Hopefully results go our way. Forest win. Burnley and Sheffield United need to win too. Need them fighting when they play teams like Everton and Forest. Yeah. I mean, it's one of them. Like I say, me personally, I'd like a draw in that Everton game. I mean, I'm not too fussed about the other one. I'll still keep an eye on it, of course, the Burnley one, but I think them two are pretty much down anyway, if I'm being honest. So it's more so that Everton one. And obviously, that game's the day after, isn't it? 1:30 kickoff. I just had a look at it. I knew it was earlier. So, yeah, I'm definitely going to watch that. It's going to be interesting. I'm sure a lot of other Luton fans will be. Jackie says snap. Yeah. Realistically, I think Everton most likely go down, but we have to put the nail in the coffin for them. Yeah, exactly. And, I've seen quite a few Everton fans on YouTube and they're not confident. The way they capitulated at Chelsea, it's just not good. Chelsea, they'd be great this season. And, yeah, I know Cole Palmer's a quality player. You could say he's up there for player of the season, but it was too easy. Too easy for Chelsea. It was weird how easy it was. I remember that day I was saying it's going to be a draw because Chelsea are like. So yeah, it's one of them. So yeah, Ty. We did say Chong and Morris or Mengi if he starts. Yeah, I remember you said that. And Chong, how many times are we waiting for the worldly from Barkley? I know there's games where he's got close, isn't there? Like the Newcastle one is the one I always mention, the home game, where Townsend scored and then shortly after he hit the post or woodwork, crossbar, whatever it was. But yeah, next time I'm going to say it, I'm confident. I'll be confident that he's going to do that. So yeah, we'll see. Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. They looked out of ideas. Like they had the odd chances, but it was just it's really weird. It's really weird performance, So it's an interesting one, but yeah, like I say, even though it's obviously not us as much, I'm looking forward to that our game, their game, mate. That's actually going to be like I'm looking forward to watching that. Because obviously we're in and around it, and I think it's going to be a good game, man. I think it is going to be a good game because it's massive for both of them, and us to obviously keep an eye on. So yeah, that is that. But Dad, any final things you'd like to say on anything?
Nah, we'll keep fighting and let's just enjoy it regardless.
Yeah, no, absolutely, 100%. But yeah, big up to everyone that's tuned in to the Hat Show today. Again, smash a like if you haven't already. I know a lot of people will watch this back on playbacks. Obviously, smash a like there. Do subscribe to the channel if you are new as well. Did put a short out. It's so annoying you don't get notifications for YouTube shorts. It's really annoying. But yeah, Kenilworth Road to all the FIFA players is actually coming out. It's meant to be coming out Tuesday. I'm actually looking forward to that. That's going to be pretty sick. And I put a little short out about that. So yeah, do check that out. And yeah, follow me across all the socials. As for content, be back again with Vlog from Home and a massive game tomorrow. And then we'll do a reaction on Monday. And then, excuse me, obviously we're playing on Saturday. So we'll do a Hat Show again for a preview to Wolves on the Friday. And hopefully Dave from Talking Wolves again will be doing another pre-recorded video. So that'll be a separate video as well coming out. So that's stuff coming out at the moment. So yeah, big up to everyone in the chat. Last load of comments before we wrap up. Big up. Yeah, unfortunately I will not be there, but yeah, enjoy, mate. Enjoy it. And hopefully we get them 3 points that we very much need. So yeah, there we go. No, I totally agree, mate. Totally agree. It's ridiculous how long it actually took. But by the seams of the trailer as well, Dad, there's actually chance.
Yeah. As long as it ain't just that one chant.
Yeah. I mean, it is good chant. We need some more. We need some more. Like that'd be sick. But yeah, no, it's looking decent from the glimpses that I've seen. So yeah, roll on that to eventually come. And you got to look at the positives as well. Now that it will be on there, it will be on other FIFAs. Even if we do go down, for example, it would still be on FIFA. So you got to look at it like that, or EA, whatever you want to call it. I'll call it FIFA. So I'm sure we all do. But yeah, big up to Stephen as well. He said both you legends, come on you hatters. Should be on your EA Football Now my Tuesday. Yeah, no, it's not on mine. I had to look, so I'm just going with Tuesday like everyone. What's that? Sorry, Dad?
I said I've heard it's the 23rd.
Yeah. It's weird when they put it out because they said on older gen it's out today on the day it come out, and then others it's Tuesday. But I'm just gonna say it's all out on Tuesday. If it's not out now, because I've had a look a good few times now. God. Well, ours is Ole, Ole, Ole. I don't think we've ever sung that in our life.
Even we've got nothing.
Yeah, except like I say, Ole, Ole, Ole. We've never sung a song like that in the life I can think of. But yeah, oh, God, oh dear. But yeah, I know that's a bit odd, isn't it? But there we go. But yeah, big up to everyone. And like I say, I'll be back again with a vlog from home tomorrow. So do check that one out. Hopefully we get the 3 points. And yeah, then we move on to Wolves. So big up to everyone. Smash a like, subscribe, follow me across all my socials. And yeah, until tomorrow, we will see you in a bit. So yeah, take care and peace.